Hello and welcome to Listen Bro. My name is Ethan. I'm here with my brother and co-host.
I'm Joe.
And today we're doing something a little different. We are going to be talking about the brand new movie Roofman. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to know what happens, don't listen to this episode yet. But we're also not just talking about the movie, we will also be talking about the true story of the Roofman and where the movie is accurate and inaccurate. And the way we did this is Joe watched the movie, told me it was really good. I didn't watch the movie until I researched the true story so that my telling of the true story would be not at all influenced by the movie. So I did finally watch the movie, and then I took note of a few things that were different in the movie from the true story. But that is how this is going to go. So, Joe, why don't you just explain the movie?
All right. Obviously, spoiler warning, like he said. So basically, the movie opens up with a birthday party, and this guy is just barely able to afford even a simple cake for his daughter, and his wife left him and everything, and his old buddy from the military is there and starts kind of pointing out, kind of alluding to the fact that he is making fake IDs for people. And tells the Roofman that he needs to try and find his, they called it superpower. And he starts pointing out, see, you can see things that other people don't, you catch things that other people don't catch. That's why you were so good in the military, dropped in the jungle, and all this stuff.
Yeah, he notices the details.
Yeah. The example they gave was how many houses have chimneys? How many houses have this on the block? And the guy was answering it perfectly. So then it kind of opens up to a monologue of him noticing the first McDonald's that he could climb onto the roof and get into. And he ends up robbing 45 stores and restaurants. It wasn't only McDonald's, but that seemed to be the most popular one for him, I suppose. But the first scene that you get of him breaking into a McDonald's is absolutely hilarious. He pops out of nowhere and basically says, "Good morning, team," and tells them to get into the freezer. And the manager did not have his jacket. So he takes off his jacket and gives it to the manager because he's going to lock him in the freezer. But I don't know if this actually happened or not, and I'll find out later. But he said, "Don't worry, you guys won't be in the freezer for long because I'm going to call 911 right before I leave, and they'll come and let you guys out." And that is just, it explains so perfectly, sets up the plot points of he's such a kind thief. Like he genuinely is a kind person. And he's just doing it to get the money. He's not doing it to actually harm anybody. But they end up, he gets back with his wife, and it flashes forwards to another birthday party where he's in a nice fancy house, and he got his family back, and then the police show up and chase him for a little bit, and then get him, arrest him, and they could only technically prove that he was guilty of one, but it was the exact same style of all the other break-ins. So
yeah,
they just tacked all of them onto him, basically. But like I said before, he's good at seeing the details and stuff in the systems and stuff. So whenever he was in prison, you get another monologue of him explaining how you just gotta be nice, gotta be perfect as you can be for the first good while, and then eventually they stop watching you and you can start getting away with some things. And the scene where he breaks out of prison is so cool to me. He goes under the truck, marks out an area, cuts a piece of wood to that exact size, and it slides into a little on the I-beams of the frame of the truck.
And this is a delivery truck.
Yeah, that comes into the prison.
Working in a shop in the prison, building stuff and loading the truck.
Yep. And The next time the guy comes, he slides the wood up and under and then jumps up into that little hole. And when I was first watching it, I was like, how in the world is he getting out of there?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're driving down the road. And also, could you imagine all the little rocks and pebbles being chucked up at him by the tires?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be miserable. But truck ends up pulling over because the driver's got to take a leak, and he sneaks out then. And naturally, he runs to try and find his family that doesn't really want anything to do with him anymore. But by that point, the guards noticed that he was gone, so they went and were staking out at his family's house, assuming he'd show up there. Well, he saw them before he got caught, so he kind of just ran and was hiding away for a little while. And then he sees a cop car, and he can kind of tell they're driving slow. They're able to see him, and he looks around, sees a Toys R Us, goes walking very fast across the parking lot and gets into the Toys R Us like right before closing time. Walks back to the bathroom, climbs through the ceiling, and hides out until everybody's gone. And he drops back down through the ceiling, then into the manager's office, looks at where the cameras are pointing, tries to map it out so that way he can not be seen in the cameras, and try and get some M&Ms, because who wouldn't try to get M&Ms? I do not like M&Ms, so I wouldn't. But
that scene was kind of funny though.
Yeah, but then he ends up finding the owner's manual for the CCTV. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the cameras.
Security cameras. Yep.
Yeah, ends up finding the owner's manual and turns off the recording. So then he's free to run through the store wherever. Doesn't matter if cameras catch him; they're not going to record him. So obviously he gets his M&Ms then. But I think the coolest part is whenever he's building his little hideout in that bike rack area. It's just so genius to hide right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he sets up baby monitors in the store and kind of has his own little reality TV show that he watches during the day through the baby monitors. And he finds out the manager's password and goes in and changes shifts for one special someone that he sees. And this lady comes in asking for her manager to donate toys because they're at a Toys R Us to her church that she's a part of for their toy drive. And the manager refuses. But Roofman, he's living in Toys R Us. He's access to how many toys?
Mm-hmm.
So he takes toys and donates them, but he tries to leave them at the front of the church and not be seen by anybody because he is wanted for escaping prison. But that doesn't work out, and they drag him into church because it's like the typical small town church. Kind people drag you in, keep you there.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in the church recognizes him, but he ends up going to a singles lunch or dinner, whatever it was, and that girl that he saw at Toys R Us was there, and they end up hitting it off, and basically, long story short, him and her start dating, and he meets her 2 kids, and he truly seemed to love the kids like his own. Since he wasn't able to get to his own daughter anymore, he kind of found another family. And he's still living in the bike rack at Toys R Us through all of this. Showering in the bathroom and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and the bike rack had it was like a half circle display.
Yeah.
And it was behind that half circle, there's a wall. Like a false wall.
Yeah. Yep. But then one morning, the manager comes walking in while he is showering, and it's probably the funniest scene of the whole movie.
Yeah.
He's standing there naked in the middle of an aisle, and the manager walks out of the office and just sees him and screams, but he's smart, and he runs and he sets off the alarm to make it look like he ran out of the building. Like he set off the exit door alarm. And then he ran and hid. But everybody thinks he left the building because he set that alarm off. And since the cameras aren't recording, there's no way to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up buying the oldest girl of the girl that he's dating a car. Or I guess it's kind of more his car, but lets her use it, is what I gathered. But
yeah,
his buddy that makes fake IDs ended up making him a fake ID after months and months of waiting, and charged him like 10 times the normal amount or something.
Yeah, it was a crazy high number.
Crazy. And he's told that he has to leave the area and not tell anyone, because if he does, it could ruin it for him and make it that he gets caught. So, he's dating this girl, and like he doesn't want to not tell her goodbye, but she recognized him because he attempted robbing from Toys R Us, and she walked in and she saw him and she knew immediately who it was. And he gets the fake ID. He's on his way to the airport and gets a phone call from her. He ignores it because he's not supposed to tell anybody. Gets another one. He ignores it. Gets another one. He finally answers. And he pulls over to the side. He is at the airport, essentially. And it's honestly kind of heartbreaking in the movie. Because you start cheering for this guy.
Yeah.
And he turns around, goes to go back to the house because she invited him over for, I think it was Christmas.
Yeah.
And he gets to the door, knocks on the door, no answer, tries to use his key, and then he gets stormed by police and SWAT or whatever and arrested. But because it was all set up, that girl brought him there just to get arrested. But then it goes and he says he's never going to try to escape again. But then at the end of the movie, it shows like little true facts about the story, and it says he did try to escape multiple times again.
Yeah.
But the one thing I thought was kind of neat is she actually came to see him in prison.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it ends. And it truly, you start cheering for the guy about halfway into the movie. Like you start like forgetting that he is a criminal. Because he truly did kind of turn his life around almost, in a way. He wasn't working. He was pawning off games.
Right.
Getting money that way. So it's not legal, but he was a good guy. He was doing bad things, but he was a good person.
Right.
So how much of that actually happened?
Well, I don't want to give any spoilers up, so I'm just going to read through. And I wrote this story before I watched the movie. And in doing the research for this, I used a couple articles that were from the year 2000, 2005. I tried to get sources that were early enough that there was no way the movie influenced anything in the story. So I tried to just be completely separated from the movie while I learned the story. So here we go. Jeffrey Manchester, that's the guy's name. He was born and raised near Sacramento, California. After high school, he enlisted in the Army and became a paratrooper. At 20 years old, he got married and started a family. And in the Army, he had been deployed all over the world. And in 1999, his family was moved into military housing at a naval weapons station in Concord, California.
Wow.
Yeah. In November, police were called to their house for a domestic disturbance. His wife filed for divorce and custody of the children, and she was gone.
So that's how they separated.
Yep.
Wow.
By this point, Jeffrey had already started robbing fast food restaurants, and most of those were McDonald's, because he worked at a McDonald's when he was in high school, a teenager.
Okay.
So he kind of knew how they were.
Yeah.
He would enter through the roof.
Hence Roofman.
Yep, that's where the name comes from. Drop down through the ceiling and hold up the staff. And he would typically wait until late at night when like they were closing up. That way you'd have the cover of darkness, but also the restaurant wasn't busy.
Yeah.
He would force them into the walk-in freezer and then steal what he could from the cash register. He was, however, known for being very kind.
Yeah.
He would say please and thank you. He would make the employees put on jackets before locking them in the cooler. And he was called the most courteous thief in the nation.
Yeah. The movie definitely showed that perfectly.
Well, yeah. And, funny that you mentioned it, he would call the police before leaving to alert them of the employees being held in the freezer.
I didn't know if that was actually true or not, but...
Absolutely true.
Wow.
Yep.
How many times did he call the police himself before he ever got caught? That's crazy. Yeah.
In May of 2000, Jeffrey Manchester, remember he was living in California. In May of 2000, he was in North Carolina for a training exercise with the Army Reserves. So the entire movie is set in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's one difference.
Okay.
Within a 5-hour period, while in North Carolina, he robbed 2 McDonald's restaurants. One was like right at closing time. The other was right at opening time. After escaping on foot, police found him hiding in some tall grass and arrested him. He was suspected of over 40 robberies across many states, all matching the way he would carry out his crime. Being courteous, putting them in a freezer, telling him to put on jackets, and then calling 911 himself. All of those things together point to this guy. So they were able to connect a lot.
That's one thing I was confused with in the movie, was like they said that he robbed over 40. And I'm like, over 40 all in North Carolina? Or was it South? Like...
It was all over the country.
That I kind of felt was hard to believe, because like you'd think they'd start taking more security measures after 20 or 30.
He was all over the country. Like if he traveled with the Army Reserves, from what I gathered, he would. And that was actually part of how they connected some of those. Once they caught him in North Carolina, they looked at his travel records with the Army.
And it all lined up.
Yeah, pointed, just too many things line up. Has to be this guy.
Yeah.
He was found guilty and sentenced to 45 years in prison for the 2 robberies in North Carolina. The primary reason for such a high sentence was that he was given a kidnapping charge for each employee that he put into a walk-in freezer.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So that's why it was 45 years, and they kind of didn't pursue charges in other places. I know, like, California said that they would kind of start working on charges against him for robberies in California. But they were like, we're not in any kind of hurry. He's going to be in prison for 45 years anyways.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of, why would you waste the time
now doing
time and resources, and like, I don't know, it's one of those things that like maybe you just don't ever.
Yeah.
Or it's like maybe it's on his record in some way, but you never officially put the money into a trial and all that. So that kind of makes sense. So he's off to prison, and again, this is in North Carolina, so he's away from home.
Yeah.
He was a model prisoner for 4 years, which allowed him to get a job in the prison's metal plant. And in June 2004, he hid under a delivery truck, holding onto the undercarriage as it left the prison. And I didn't write it, but one place that I read mentioned the plywood, and that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, because it'd be hard to hold yourself up there.
Right.
Plus,
but he did not ride very far.
Okay.
It basically just got outside.
It showed in the movie like they were taking mirrors and shining underneath to like.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know if that would actually happen.
Yeah, I think that is true. And like he painted the plywood so that it would blend in, but he had successfully escaped. And like I said, he didn't actually get very far on the truck. He basically got outside of the prison and then took off on foot.
How'd he get out of the truck? Just tuck and roll?
I have no idea. Yeah, something, or maybe stop sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an easy way to jump out. But instead of heading back to California where his ex-wife and kids were and all of his family, he stayed in North Carolina and found a hideout inside a Toys R Us.
Okay.
So that
The whole like his
anything with his
actual
family.
Yeah, that's not true. Okay.
He made his hideout behind a false wall and ate baby food at night.
Yeah, I was watching that scene and I was just like,
Yeah. He also made a hidden passageway into the next door abandoned Circuit City store where he set up a living space in a 4-foot by 10-foot area below a staircase.
Wow.
So in the movie, they didn't have Circuit City at all. They
Yeah.
just had him in the Toys R Us. But by setting up in the abandoned Circuit City, they're just, less people.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was going through there every day.
Mm-hmm.
But he concealed his passageway because he had a way to get from the Toys R Us into the Circuit City by having I think it was a plywood door painted to match the wall, and he set it up with a bungee cord to hold it closed.
Okay.
So that he could still pull it open to get in or out, or maybe he waited until the store was closed and then just unhooked the bungee cord and
had it open.
Yeah, but either way, he had a way to hold it closed so that it wouldn't be obvious.
Yeah.
He made his bed with Spider-Man sheets, hung movie posters on the wall.
They did do that.
Yep, they did show that. He set up baby monitors to watch the activity inside the Toys R Us.
I did not know if that was true or not.
Yep,
that
absolutely.
Just sounded so, just crazy.
Yep, and he only left his hideout when it was safe. He started attending a nearby church and even had a girlfriend. He helped out with the Wednesday night Bible study and even went to the dentist, all using a false name. On the day after Christmas, Manchester walked into the Toys R Us store with a gun to rob the place, hoping that there would be plenty of cash following the holiday rush. A few days later, a police officer was patrolling the area of the Toys R Us following the robbery and noticed a portion of the Circuit City was dark, despite the power being left on in there. So I'd assume for security measures, just leave leave the lights on. So that made him suspicious. So he started looking around and he found a makeshift door, and inside he found a hideout. Jeffrey was not in there, but they found a fingerprint in the hideout that connected to Jeffrey Manchester, and his mugshot went out on the nightly news. Jeffrey, he tried to set his dentist's office on fire, most likely to an attempt to destroy his own dental records. But by that point, he was already recognized by members of his church.
Man.
A detective met with his girlfriend, and she agreed to arrange a meeting with Jeffrey. He arrived at her apartment with flowers, where he was met by a swarm of law enforcement.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Police Sergeant Catherine Scheimriff said his mistake was going back for the girl. That's what got him. And he is now serving his sentence at the Central Prison in Raleigh, North Carolina, with a possible release date in 2036 when he will be 65 years old.
Man.
And so a couple things. I wanted to just read that without talking about the movie too much. Central Prison, where he was finally put, that was they had that accurate printed on the back of his shirt, the prison at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, all this stuff with his family, not true, they weren't in the same area. And when he escaped from prison, people expected he was going back to back to California.
Yeah.
But he stayed in North Carolina. So
they did
stayed
say
nearby.
In the movie, like, if you break out, everybody's expecting you to run. Best thing to do is just hunker down.
Yeah, and, I don't know. That's probably not how I would do it, but
yeah,
I probably wouldn't ever be breaking out of jail, though.
Yeah.
A couple other things that I noted after seeing the movie, they didn't include anything about him still being in the Army Reserves when he was robbing those McDonald's.
Yeah, they made it sound like he was completely out of the military.
Right. And then, of course, the birthday party scene, that was made up.
Yeah. So he didn't have a buddy that made fake ID?
I never came across anything talking about anything like that. He was supposedly planning to flee the country after the Toys R Us robbery.
Okay.
But he went to his girlfriend's house
Yeah.
and got caught. His girlfriend did not work at Toys R Us.
Oh, okay.
She did go to the church, and he did donate a lot of toys.
I was wondering if, like, that changing the schedule thing, that seemed like he did it too much. So I guess that makes sense that she didn't work there.
Yeah, he did change the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, he would do it to make the Toys R Us, basically to give himself more windows of opportunity. So he would make them
genius.
Short-sighted. I don't think it was, kind of what I gathered from what I read is, like, I would imagine he probably, like, shifted somebody's hours, start an hour later, end an hour sooner, stuff like that, to give himself more windows of opportunity there.
He was a smart guy. Like,
he was, that's the thing, he wasn't dumb.
Yeah, like, he genuinely thought everything through and was very smart about a lot of the things so far.
And then I read an article from the Charlotte Observer, which is a newspaper in North Carolina there. They talked about the movie. They have some list of things that show up in the movie, and then, like, whether it's true or not. There's some that are kind of funny. He did use the name John Zorin.
Okay.
That was his fake name.
Did he tell him that he worked for the government?
Yes, he did. He told them that he worked for the government in a job that he couldn't talk about. He lived in a very boring government building.
So those are all quotes from him pretty much then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
great.
And then the whole thing about him attending a singles brunch at Red Lobster.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lee, the girl, asks him out afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That is all true, except it was actually at a TGI Fridays, not a Red Lobster.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that he's just out walking around plain as day.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. It makes more sense knowing that, like, it's not where his family was.
Yeah.
There was no chance of him bumping into people he knew.
Yep. Do you happen to know if, like, anything with... Because in the movie, they showed, like, him calling his family while in jail and them basically telling him, we don't want anything to do with you.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, he was in prison in North Carolina and his family was in California, and she had already left him and took the kids because of a domestic dispute.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would not at all be surprised. Another thing in the movie, Lee, the girlfriend, gets in a fight with her 16-year-old daughter. They end up apologizing. John Zorin suggests they need a beater car for her to learn to drive.
Uh-huh.
So they go to buy a Chrysler Concorde sedan at a local car dealership, go on a crazy test drive, and he ends up buying it with cash.
Yeah.
That part, there are some elements in there that are true.
Okay. Let me guess, the test drive isn't true.
The test drive is not true.
I figured.
He went with his girlfriend to a local dealership, and she thought that he really needed a car. Like, she must have thought he was there without a car. And she was surprised when he handed over $5,000 cash to buy a green 1999 Chrysler Concorde. Same car.
Yeah.
But
we did notice that in the credits. They showed a clip of when they were raiding the car a little bit. We did notice that they had the same exact car pretty much. Actually,
I didn't watch all the way through the credits, so.
Okay.
But none of her children were there. And she actually had 3 kids. She had two girls and a boy. The ages were close on the girls, but not quite right.
Okay.
But, yeah. Overall, though, having learned the story as much as I could before watching the movie, I was surprised at how many things in that movie were accurate.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I brought it up to you, is like, because it just sounds like the movie is such a wild movie.
Yeah.
But in the credits, they had clips of people talking that backed up points of it. And I'm like,
yeah,
this has to be a crazy story.
Well, in the girlfriend's name in the movie is the actual name of the girl that he was dating. She did visit him once shortly after he got arrested, and she said that was for closure for herself.
Okay.
she was part of. She was consulted for the movie process, so they used her as a source for the story.
Okay.
And after the movie was in production, she started going to visit him a little more. But they went like 20 years without seeing each other. She never went and visited him after that one time.
Yeah.
Until the movie was in production, and she has since married.
Yeah.
But she kind of says, he's not a bad guy. Just he did some bad things, but he's not a bad guy.
In the credits, they showed a clip of her saying that she asked her oldest daughter if she remembers him, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he was he was fun. It was always fun when he was around."
Yeah, and I think the oldest daughter was 15 at the time. So yeah, but like I said, I was impressed with how accurate the movie was.
Yeah,
it really surprised me. There's a lot that they added with the family to make it more dramatic.
Yep. I mean, it's
characters,
a movie.
Yeah, the characters in the Toys R Us, I never really read anything about any of them specifically.
But you had to make that little section. Like I said, I loved the part where he was just watching it as...
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
A reality TV show, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Just different camera angles, following him across the store. Mm-hmm. Did you find anything about, like, if he did actually pawn off games and steal games to take to the pawn shop?
Yes, he broke in. He took stolen stuff from the Toys R Us, pawned it, and then he broke into the pawn shop and stole 2 guns.
They did show that
before his Toys R Us robbery. But yep, and it was not a Christmas dinner that he was going to.
Okay.
When he got caught, because the robbery at the Toys R Us actually took place after Christmas, not before
I caught
Christmas.
That you said that, yeah.
And that was December 26th. I believe it was January 6th that he got arrested.
Okay.
So he made it like
Quite a
little
while,
ways.
yeah.
I mean, 10, 11 days. But that was his girlfriend's birthday. So they were supposed to go to a birthday. They were supposed to be going out for a birthday dinner.
And that's why he had the flowers.
He showed up with flowers and got arrested
Man.
at her door.
The movie really played him out to be just a good guy. He just,
right,
like she said, he's a good guy. He just did some bad things.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It makes for a good movie.
Yeah.
When you do it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy would ever be a killer. He didn't hurt people. He didn't beat up somebody when he robbed a Toys R Us. That didn't happen.
Okay. Because that was the first time that he hit somebody or did anything to actually harm somebody.
Yeah. Nope. He didn't do that. He showed up with a gun, took their gun off of him.
Yeah.
And forced everybody on the ground. But he had a domestic dispute in his past.
Yeah.
That caused his wife to leave him and take the kids.
Yeah.
So, not...
He's not perfect.
No. But I don't know what exactly that domestic dispute was. But
yeah. Yep.
But either way, it is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely watch it again. I might watch it again.
I already watched it twice before I mentioned it to you, and then I watched it 2 more times getting ready for today.
Okay. And say I only watched it once.
Yeah. It's like we said, it's just a good movie. Like, even if you don't care if it's true or not, it's just a good movie.
Yeah, it is. It's very entertaining and fun.
And what's the actor's name? Jason something?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. I was going to say Jason Tatum, but that's...
He's just... Jason Statham.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
It'd be a whole different movie.
It would be. I saw this guy make a video about every movie that he's in is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's always, we got a mission for you. I don't do missions anymore.
Yeah.
So-and-so's involved. What's the mission?
Yeah.
Like, but anyways, back to this one. Channing Tatum is just, like, I always picture him as more of like in the funny, goofy roles, and this movie definitely has those moments.
Yeah.
But he played a more serious role a lot better than I expected, I guess, because I am used to him in the comedy ones more.
Yeah. I mean, I think the vast majority of the movie was that comedy role for him.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it did have a literal scene of him dancing through Toys R Us.
Yeah, there was all those goofy things, the goofing around with the kids,
Yeah.
all that. There.
I kind of wish that they would have done that where he made a secret door.
Yeah.
I wish they would have gone that route almost.
Yeah, it would have been kind of neat to see how they did it, but that you're just adding layers to,
Yeah.
Probably would have made the movie 10, 20 minutes longer to like properly.
Yeah. And
they're moving displays around in the store. My
How
stuff's
much-
going to get found.
how much more
Something like that.
expensive to make the movie just to add that extra little bit.
Yeah. But
So,
it was good, though. It was very good.
mm-hmm.
Very good. Pretty well accurate. I would say probably 80%.
That's crazy. I mean, just
I mean-
wild of a story it is for it to have that
Yeah.
many accuracies.
Right. And he lived there for 6 months.
Yeah. That's in the movie. They made it sound that he called his buddy that makes fake IDs, and
Yeah.
he went back to serve another tour
Mm-hmm.
and in the military, and then he was gonna be back at this month, and then
Yeah.
the guy, like, Jeffrey calls the day he gets back in the movie, and he's like,
Right.
I need time, man, I just got back, it's gonna be this much longer.
Yeah.
So that's how they kind of explain the 6-month thing there,
Right.
as he was waiting down until he got his ID. But
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest things I questioned, I think, with it was there actually somebody that made a fake ID for him?
Yeah. I never came across anything
Yeah.
about that. Maybe he did somehow, maybe he did get his hands on some fake ID
Yeah.
of some kind, but
I'm sure it wasn't his old military buddy.
no,
and
yeah,
that
exactly.
storyline if it was, but
Yeah. But yeah, movie Roofman.
yeah.
I'd highly recommend watching it.
On Paramount Plus, I believe, right?
I watched it on Prime with a MGM plus
Okay.
7-day free trial.
Okay.
So, but you can rent it on Amazon Prime.
But definitely worth the watch. I would say pretty family friendly.
Yeah, it's pretty family friendly.
So
But if you enjoyed this different kind of episode, please let us know in the comments or send us a message on Instagram at ListenBroPod. We're also on YouTube posting some short clips that have photos and just a little more of a visual element to little snippets of some of the stories we tell, and that channel is Listen Bro Podcast. If you would like to suggest a topic to be covered, send us a message or leave us a comment on any platform where we are on, and we will see it.
Yep.
But
And
that's
just
all
remember,
for this one.
we aren't movie reviewers, so
Yeah, no, we're not movie reviewers. I don't even watch a ton of movies,
yep.
which is
Same.
why I
think
preferred.
I watch mainly YouTube.
Yeah, that's why I preferred to do the true story side
Yeah.
focus of the movie. But yeah,
Yep.
that's all we got.
We'll catch you next time.